Now we're in Zimbabwe with Dalton York Safaris going after tuskless elephant. Now this is more of a management hunt. The tuskless gene is a recessive gene that they want to keep out of the herd. And more importantly, the meat stays in the local villages. Only about 3 to 6% of elephants are tuskless. Here's one on the far end. There's actually 3 in this group, which is very rare. Here's another one, but they all have calves. So we're looking for a tuskless without calves on this hunt. On the first morning of the hunt, we come across this single bull elephant right outside of camp. This bull's largest tusk would be about 45 pounds, which is a shooter here in Zimbabwe, but we're after tuskless. Here my PH York Mare is getting a better look at this bull in order to age it and get a better idea of how big his tusks are. Now we're headed out to check some water holes, and right away we run into some elephants. Here's another bull, but his tusks aren't that big.
Oh yeah. Bleeding on his trunk. Liver with the tusks. See that? That's an old bull. We're looking for a tuskless cow. There's several of them in here, elephants, but all of them have tusks. Look at that big old sucker right there. How'd you get that? His right side been broken. Yeah. Come through here. Yeah. Here, let me aim it. Let me just aim it. Okay, it's back on. All right. It's cheeky. Come, Brad. Just walked in to check some water holes. The elephants have been here. You can see where they've been all in here. But nothing right now. Fresh tracks. It's a good sized water hole.
Here's a group of cows, but there's no tuskless with them.
We got a tuskless right there, but it's got a baby with it, so we can't shoot it. That's a big one. Yeah. That's Well, we just got into the middle of a bunch of elephants. We did have one tuskless at 30 yards, but she had a baby, so we had to pass her up. We're looking for a tuskless cow with no baby, obviously, but we had her so close. There was a ton of elephants in here. It was pretty cool, but we'll just keep going.
Here's a big tuskless cow, but she has a calf with her. Late in the evening, we spot this group of elephants on the floodplains by Lake Kariba. And right at sunset, this nice bull steps out. The next day, we come across this group of elephants with a nice tuskless in it, but they're headed for the thick bush. We give it a little while for the elephants to settle down, and then we head after them.
It's the one behind.
Here we are only about 20 yards from the group, but the tuskless is on the other side in the thick brush. After about an hour or so, the group of elephants start heading back towards the floodplain, so we slowly follow. Here, something spooks the herd, so we get ready. Here, the tuskless steps out from the middle of the group.
Wait. Back up.
Here, a couple of the elephants start coming at us, and you don't want to be in the thick brush, so we get into the open and put some distance between us. But one of them keeps following us, and York has to shoot over its head in order to spook it back. The elephant stops at 15 yards and turns around. The last thing you want to do is have to shoot another one.
Come, to me. In the open, all in the open.
Alright, we just shot a tuskless and dropped her, but the herd surrounded her, tried to get her up, and then attacked us, so we had to run.
We had to get into the open. There's no big trees here.
So now there's still a couple over there, but a few more minutes they'll take off. We'll go get a look at her. But that was pretty hectic there for a few minutes.
Go.
What we're doing here is a tuskless elephant hunt. And from what we've read, there's only about 6% or less are tuskless. It's kind of an inferior gene, so we get out of the herd and now this meat will stay local in the community.
It will, yeah. So there's a fishing village behind us and then the bigger village further off to the west. And they've obviously all heard the shots. There are a few people actually that were walking past, so the message will definitely get to the village tonight, and guaranteed in the morning we'll get you to a soccer stadium.
Be a lot of people here for all this meat. Man, right here in Zimbabwe with Dalton York Safaris, what an exciting time. I want to thank you.
Keith, well done.
All right, thanks.
Now this is the conservation aspect and how this helps the local villages. This is the only meat they typically get. We get back here this morning and there's probably 100 locals and there's still more walking up. And all they've got are buckets just so they can carry as much meat as they can. So none of this elephant will go to waste. It's just a cool part that most people don't get to see.
Here they tell everyone to line up for the meat, and you can tell how excited they are.
Old people and the ladies with the babies.
Over 200 people showed up wanting some meat, so they cut it in chunks so that everyone got to take some home.
It doesn't pay to be a vulture around here.
The vultures moved in pretty quick, but there was nothing left for them. All the meat went with the villagers.